I'm going to call this one Black Memphis could tweak this. This city, which I loved, I've lived here. I'm still in the area. I mean, my life has been in Memphis. Not to say that that's qualifies me or anything, but one disturbing trend that I see here is there's a situation in the Bible where some of the disciples of Jesus said, "We saw someone casting out devils in your name, and they were not one of us, and we forbade them." Memphis has more cliques, clubs, and cuts. How you can be the Holy Writ that I know, I don't like some of the things that this presidential administration is doing, but I have to kind of temper that as someone who's called to break the bread of life, speak truth to power, but I'm not to be part of every negative post of a person that I still want to pray for, or pray that God changes his heart, or pray for God to deal with it, because God does say vengeance is his. But one of the things that Black Memphis could tweak, we're experts at tearing each other down. Watch the progress of this new mayor, and every little thing. We do no research. We don't even come from a credible source. We're ready to post it, put it out there. No research done, no credible source. And then we bash when we had a mayor right before him that no one said anything about for almost 8 years. Why are we so good at tearing each other down? We're even talking about now this situation with the National Guard being here, which they're mostly their duties are not as far as this task force are concerned, are not as out front as the federal agents that are here. But we have seen some change in the city, whether you want to see it or not. You can't just be the only one taking up the vote. I don't want them here. Well, some people feel that there's some people of color that feel that them being here has helped them, or they feel more confident being out. Because we want to just bash, we want to just trash, we want to just throw out things. And that's something we need to tweak. If Memphis is ever going to be the metropolis, the center of activity, and we got so many things positively going for us, but those that are in their camps, they don't ever want opportunity to get outside of their camp. They're going to find a way. If they can't find it on you, they'll just make it up and they'll just trash. So look, this is a place where we can take this city to another level. We can, as people of color, start turning some things around here. But we can't keep trashing each other. We can't keep bashing each other. We can't keep finding dirt, and we can't say, "Oh, well, they've been in power. His dad was so and so, and his dad was so and so," and we establish norms and we establish gatekeepers in this city, and some of the gatekeepers are worth $2.53. We should have been left some of those gatekeepers. But people who have been in power doesn't want to concede at any time. But look, we got many concerns in this area. The poverty rate, the educational system is challenged. But we can't, there are things that we're fighting because some things that directly affecting us are being fought. Now, I don't as much so say DEI, but that DEI was the bellwether issue of our day because so many other people benefited from DEI. But I do think the loss of Black jobs, the erasing of Black history is a concern. Taking Black educational triumphs and Black achievement and whitewashing those so-called So look, we got 1,000,001 concerns. So how are we in Memphis, Tennessee fighting each other? How are we in Memphis, Tennessee dragging down each other? How are preachers posting about a mayor that looks just like them with no research? Just because he not one of your fellas, just like because he in your crew, just because you gave him some business proposition and he might not have listened to it. Why, how do we get here? But there is a day. There's a toll for that. When our young people, it's called the brain drain. When our young people see that consistently over and over again as a modus operandi, as a pattern that happens over and over again, don't be surprised when they don't want to come home, when you send them to Middle Tennessee State, or you send them to Atlanta, or you send them around the country. The kids that graduate in Memphis, Tennessee, and go to institution of higher learning, don't be surprised when they don't want to come back home to Memphis. Don't be surprised when they get a degree that they don't want to come back here. Don't be surprised that some companies are going across the bridge to find opportunities instead of here, because we fight each other so much. What are we fighting for? Petty on petty. Black wealth is found in pockets in Memphis. I'm not going to say that there aren't people here getting it. Yes, there are people here getting it. I know plenty of them. But it's found in pockets when there could be a shift for collective wealth. And I know we got our different family names that everybody feels are so sacred, and they got no room for new names because we've always been we've always been the standard. Well, that standard probably left a long time ago. There needs to be opportunity for new young men and new young women. There needs to be opportunity for some brand new names. There needs to be some opportunity for new groups. This is a time for Memphis is fit for disruption. I know no one ever wants to say that word disruption because they paint you as a rebel. Well, you've already painted me, so I don't have to worry about being painted. So I've already been painted, but there are plenty of opportunities right here in Memphis, Tennessee. There are opportunities. I heard how they bashed XAI to the 97th degree. And I'm not saying all the correct answers belong on either side, but isn't it kind of hypocritical when they have a job fair at what do they call it? At Crosstown Concourse, and it's standing room only. There's no room, so you all want to bash, but give me a job. How do we? Still trying to figure that one out. But look, we're in a day where things are so critical. We've got so many looming things that we're on the cusp of. But what will hurt us the most is our bashing of each other. We need to stop bashing of each other. You're wondering why your kid went to UT Knoxville and never wanted to come home, because he hears you bash your preacher, you bash every politician, you let one mayor sit here for 8 years and never say anything about him, and the brand new mayor, you want to say everything that he does is wrong. And then you even want to say that he's involved in things. This young man has spent his whole life barely getting a traffic ticket. And when you want to run for politics in Memphis, Tennessee, and you have a little bit of color, they're gonna rake you through the coals. He's lived an exemplary life, family man, families achieved, and we just want to bash. But look, these are the very reasons that we want to be the big man on the hill, and the hill's actually small, and the hill stays small, because we don't want opportunity to ever make it outside of my 4 and no more. We want to keep it up. All Memphis is a city in the African-American side of cliques and clubs, and one side gets lifted while others don't. So look, I'm just telling you, it's a new day. And if Memphis is to rise, we're going to have to let some of these petty grudges that somebody else is getting blessed. And why are we competing with each other when we should be collaborating? There are manifold opportunities here. There are brilliant minds right here in Memphis, got black faces. But we compete when we should collaborate. We take people to tests. We should be working together. We all have some mutual concerns. Your house you may have 2 more cars in the driveway, but your son riding at night from one of the nicer suburbs looks just like the young man that lives in the hood. When the police pulls them over at night, how can they differentiate? So look, we have some mutual concerns. Let's come together. I'm not saying that we got to be kissing cousins and agree on everything. The Bible says, come and let us reason together. That's the word. See, I don't know. I get a whole lot of folks that don't really take me well because all I do is use the Bible. You're going to post. The Bible says, pray for the leaders, pray for leaderships, pray for those who have rule, who overlook you, you oversee. Pray for them. There's nothing wrong with praying for them. But we don't want to we pick and choose what part of the Bible that we want to hear and we want to see. Look, I believe this city can thrive. I was driving, we went to Gatlinburg, and I hadn't seen some of the smaller cities in East Tennessee, how they progressed. So I hit, I think, we knew Chattanooga was developed, but we were not realizing that not only Knoxville has blown up, Kingsport has blown up, all the little East Tennessee cities that you see on the way to Gatlinburg. We're just surprised at the growth and the opportunity that seems to be there. Now, I know that's not our fault. That's because we have a legislature that looks after the concerns of East Tennessee differently than they look after the concerns of West Tennessee. Now, I will acknowledge that. That's no one here's fault. But can we keep complaining about spilled milk? Or can we come together, sit down, come, and let us reason together? I know you can't rule everybody. Can we have consensus on something? I've challenged people because of the new mayor. And I said, well, he's just getting there. I've never seen you complain the other 8 years of the other mayor. But now you got to post every day. So look, I said, well, he's a young guy. Call him. Give him your insight. No, we don't want to do that. Because, and then they say, well, he's going to be a one-term mayor. Well, he's not the first that we said was going to be a one-term mayor that got a second term. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that happens. So look, why can't we find what we agree on instead of bashing each other? That's some things that Black Memphis needs to tweak. I don't like, I saw a good, I see our business norms. I don't see an overwhelming 10 million plus African-American business, 10 million a year plus African-American business in hardly anything, in hardly any industry here. And it's there. We got the populace to support a good business. We have the wherewithal to support a good business to that size. But most of the businesses in that space have a problem scaling because they got to deal with all these cliques, clubs, and haters. Why would you build your highway place on the same parking lot? The same reason why you can go down one street in Fraser Boulevard and there's 97 churches coming down the street. But look, everybody's got a right to do what they do. But I'm just saying, if we want Memphis to grow, we got to get away from all of this, me, my fault, and no more. And we got to stop saying, Lord, just like they said in the Bible. They said, whoa, this is it. They said, Master, we saw someone casting out the devil, not attempting to cast out the devil. They said they saw one casting out devils in your name. Successfully doing it. Devils running down the street, getting on the way, casting devils out. But they were not one of us. And we forbade them. So look, let's sometime, everybody, maybe I think what our problem is that we just, thank you, Brother Brown. But and I was talking with someone today, and we're partial when we went to Temple of Deliverance. We are very partial. But I said this, I said the church I said G.E. Patterson is dead. I mean, I'm not saying that because he actually passed away 18 years ago. But the tenor, the moment, the care for the things of God, the care for each other. The man was passionate not only about God, he was passionate about people. What happened to that? What happened to that standard? We all talk about being gatekeepers, but now gatekeepers in this city means that we want more opportunity to come our way, and not to that preacher across the street. Mr. Governor, Mr. Big Man with some money, you better deal with me. I'm the one that calls the shots. I'm the one that sets the mark. I'm the one. How's that helping everybody? I've said it, and sometimes I might have regretted it, but it is strange when the governor comes here that the same 5 or 6 preachers meet with him. A city full of black preachers. Instead of getting the governor in the room, here are our concerns. We have these gatekeepers who bring the concerns of the city to the governor. Now, I want to believe that they bring all of the concerns, but I think they bring the concerns of the same 5 or 6 people's concerns. We got to do better than this. Our city has need. Our people are in need. They're living in poverty. I mean, there was a different standard growing up poor when I grew up, because I'm not saying we had anything grand, but there was no one hungry on the street I grew up on, because somebody on that street would feed you. That type of heart, that type of leading and leaning does not operate as rapidly in 2025. So there are people out here that don't know where they have to go. We've already got the thing with the government. The government shutdown is hit. There's a potential. We've had a government shutdown. There's the potential of SNAP benefits being taken. There is also so many, per reading, black females have had their employment in government jobs, and more than a few have lost their jobs. And it's different because I heard a guy talking commonplace this morning in the barbershop. He's talking firsthand. He's a government worker, so he got half of a paycheck the last pay period. This week was the first pay period that he didn't get anything. And he said, man, that will kind of shake you a little bit. And he said his security, which not really security, but he had a bomb in Gilead because he has a wife that works outside of government. But he says so many of his contemporaries at the job don't have the same. They're saying there are women with 2 and 3 kids. How about all of the grandmothers that all of a sudden that they may still be in the work world, but baby girl or son have ditched their grandkids, and we do have that tendency still in our community. Thank the Lord, where if one generation won't take care of the children, we always got an elder generation that tries to look out for the children. And some of those grandparents may be out without a job right now, and they have the responsibility of taking care of children whose parents may be passed on, whose parents may be incarcerated, whose parents may not care, or may be under the control of the enemy at this moment. So we got so many pressing concerns in this city, and we need to come and reason together. We need to sit down and figure out what's your strength, what's your strength, what's your strength, what's your strength, what's your weakness, what's your weakness, what can't you do, what can we help with? We don't do that. We want our four and no more to be in power. And I'm 59 years old. And what I'm seeing now is, of course, I go to more funerals than ever before. And when I see these funerals, almost a tear comes out my eye, because I look and I see so much potential. I know brilliant black men and brilliant black women. And then I just sit there and look, and I said, nothing gets us together but a funeral. We can't come together on anything else. We're going to see each other at a viewing. We're going to see each other at a funeral. We're going to exchange contact information and say, man, we need to get together. And guess when we'll see each other again? At the very next funeral. Well, look, I'm one to call foul. I'm sorry. I ain't going to let you just sit back on your laurels. I'm going to call foul. I'm calling foul, because so many of the concerns of this city are not upon our politicians alone. There are politicians over the years that have benefited greatly from a populace that doesn't question them, and maybe that time does need to be gone. But I am saying this, some of it belongs on us. And if we don't find a way to get together, to come and reason together, to come and try to build something of substance and something to change the narrative of Black Memphis, Tennessee, because they're just making like we just a bunch of loons. And I know some of the most brilliant people I've met anywhere that hail from Memphis, Tennessee. But why do they have to leave Memphis, Tennessee for their brilliance to be recognized? We got to find a way to stop that, or the brain drain will send them from school from Memphis and they'll never come back. We'll see them at family reunions. We'll see them at Christmas time, and their brilliance will be gone, will be assisting another city in becoming great. So look, Memphis has some concerns. There's some things we need to tweak. There's some things we need to repair. And stop always wanting to hear something adversely about somebody that's doing something. Now here you are sitting in your, I almost said it, sitting in your place, and all you got to do is post some stuff that you ain't researched worth a hill of beans by some unverified, unreliable news source. So look, that's what we want. We want to find dirt on folk. And find, if you dig deep enough, you can find it on anyone. But some people, even after you find the dirt on them, they find a way to prosper. Even after you find the dirt on them, they know what their resolve is. God didn't call us to be perfect. And none of us are sinless, one word, but we sure should sin less, two words. So I believe that Memphis has better days. I'm going to be one. I don't have the political bug. I want to support good candidates. I want to be as good a preacher as I possibly can be. But we got to start creating something. Our economy can't be built on beauty shops, hot wing spots, even though they're incredible. Keep doing what you do. I know I saw one of my old classmates that she has a Academy of Cosmetology and Academy for Barbers. She's killing the game. I'm hearing about some other young lady that does the triptology. She's a lot younger, but they said that she is a money-making machine. So I don't look down on anyone's crafts, because part of the thing is they're talking about all the money that's going to be made by electricians and plumbers with the advances of AI, because they're going to need electricians and plumbers. So look, don't look down on anybody's craft, because somebody doing every craft is killing the game. All I'm saying is that we all need to use our respective talents, what God gave us, to come together and try to build something of substance, and not make this city that keeps the national news, to catch the national bad ratings, because I believe that Memphis is on its way up. I hope you believe the same. I'm praying that you do. God bless Memphis, Tennessee. Be blessed.